Hey guys, RanterInShades, or exercising my First Amendment rights vlog style. Now this is my 100th official public upload, leaving out the few videos I have marked as private, such as my brain enema videos. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for giving me the motivation to make 100 videos, take some time out of my somewhat busy schedule to sit down and share my thoughts on things, and upload these thoughts to an audience of over 700 people. This has been super fun, and I'm looking forward to making 100 more videos for you guys. Now, to celebrate having made 100 videos, I'm going to do a more serious and personal video than I normally do here. I don't usually like to get personal and serious here, but this is something that every YouTube user does at some point in their channel's existence, and that's share their religious views. I'd like for this to be the only video I do on religion. As big a fan as I am of Mr. Epsilon, Jacqueline Glenn, and The Amazing Atheist, I don't want too much of my channel to be devoted to religious discussion. Because of that, this video is probably going to be really long, and I do apologize if it is ridiculously long. If you stick around throughout the entire duration, big ups to you. So yeah, this video is just gonna share the entirety of my religious views, explaining what exactly I believe, how I came to believe that, and why I believe that. So to sum up what I classify myself as, I consider myself a deist. What deism is pretty much non-religious theism, kind of like agnosticism. A deist believes that a god created the world and didn't really do anything else. I'll explain more about why I believe this later on after I give some backstory. So, as far back as I can remember, I was raised Jewish. I had my bar mitzvah in very late 2006 when I had turned 13 a few months earlier. Up until that point, from about 3rd grade until 6th grade, I went to this general religious school with a few friends from regular school. These classes took place Wednesdays after school from about 3:45 to 5:30, so about 2 hours, as well as 2 hours on Sunday mornings. So yeah, it sucked having to waste time I could have been spending watching cartoons at the temple. These classes were pretty much your run-of-the-mill learning about Jewish history and various prayers and whatnot. I was pretty bored out of my mind and just killed time with a friend of mine, making up these very elaborate and outrageous adult plot lines with little toys, if you catch my drift. I never felt I was getting much out of those classes, and to this day, none of that really stuck with me. But after your final year of those classes in 6th grade, you start this thing called youth group. What that is after the religious classes let out on Wednesday, people from 7th grade until 12th grade come at around 6 for dinner. Usually for dinner it's either Papa Gino's or this really shitty kosher Chinese food that I referenced in my collab with Stoutmeister for that Chinese food song. After dinner, everybody present says a little prayer and then goes to their respective classes. These classes are more life-oriented than back in elementary school. They weren't as run-of-the-mill. You actually learned shit that matters, such as sex ed and shit like that, and that's one of the reasons I stuck with the program. And aside from that, the group plans these little field trips and outings. One of the only field trips I went on with youth group, since it was pretty much the only one that really interested me, was dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe followed by a Blue Man Group show. Pretty much both things I love. There was also a trip to a Celtics game back before we got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, back when we friggin' sucked, especially since Paul Pierce wasn't even playing this game, so of course we blew. But hey, it was 2007, so what else did you expect? Anyway, after your bar bat mitzvah, you have the option as to whether or not to continue going to youth group. I chose to continue going because I had a pretty cool group of friends from both my school and from a few of the neighboring towns. I liked meeting up with these guys at dinner to just make jokes and talk about life. Because of that, I continued to go to youth group for another year. So what happened then? Well, right now, at this point, it's 2008, and I had started high school. I was ridiculously friggin' busy with my schoolwork, and I was doing plays back then, and that took up a good bit of my time as well, since the director had rehearsals go ridiculously late. So I really had no time for youth group. But the couple times when I somehow found time to go there, I realized that no one else in my little group really had the time either. And that's when I started thinking. I came to a realization that I was going to the youth group for kind of the wrong reasons. I sort of knew for a while that I wasn't really taking Judaism seriously. Most of the older kids there had this Jewish pride, and I felt I didn't really have it. I realized then that I looked at being Jewish as a label. Something I feel that if you're part of a religion, you probably shouldn't do that. Religion really shouldn't be a label. It should be something you embrace and keep with you for the rest of your life, if possible. And I guess Judaism was just something I never felt obligated to embrace. There are people out there that aren't really devout with their religion, and my family is not by any means devout Jews. That's perfectly fine. If there are certain things your religion teaches that you embrace, but you don't necessarily follow the entire thing, that's perfectly fine. You can continue to consider yourself Christian or Jewish or Islam, but I didn't see the logic in that. I felt that if I was going to continue going to this youth group just for the sake of socializing with people and see Judaism as just a label, then there was really no point in keeping calling myself a Jew. Even then, there were things that I took way more seriously than religion, and that's still the case today. For example, music. I care more about being a good musician than a good Jew. There were also certain social obligations I felt were higher of priorities than religion, like my band. Being Jewish was not really important to me, and I felt, why bother? However, unlike much of the ranting community, I am not an atheist. Like I said, I believe a God created the world, but that's all I really believe as far as God goes. I believe God created the concept of an evolving world, where living things on this planet have the ability to evolve and progress to the point where we are now an intelligent species. I look at God as the Big Bang itself. But other than that, I don't believe God talks to anyone, answers their prayers, or anything. He's just up there, sitting his fat ass on the couch, flipping the TV channel, occasionally getting up to go to the bathroom, and not really doing anything to intervene with life on Earth. Otherwise, we would be living in a world much like what John Lennon spoke about in the song Imagine. But we're not there yet. If we can't find a way to get there ourselves, instead of relying on God to get us there, then we will never get there. Not even by praying. As you may or may not be able to tell, I don't believe in miracles either. I don't believe in spiritual healing or faith healing. I don't believe that God does anything to really help the world. Like I said, he's glued to that TV set while we all kill each other and get in pissing matches over politics and religion. Fuck all that. As far as an afterlife, I look at that as more of a coping mechanism than something that actually is real. If there was a heaven or hell, someone there would have to come to Earth to inform us, and if humans aren't supposed to see or hear ghosts or spirits, how the hell is that possible? I don't feel I really need a religion either. I look at religion as something that just divides societies, puts countries at war, and puts individual humans in such petty arguments over which religion is right, or non-religion for that matter, and I don't want any part in it. And that is why I choose not to be an atheist either. I've known some atheists in my personal life that have told me that atheism is right, it's the only way, and that I am wrong for believing what I believe, for even uttering that some higher power had something to do with the creation of this world. I don't want to be on their side either. Those types of atheists really are no better than the religious people they despise so much. JJ Discussions said in a video of his that you aren't an asshole because of your religion or non-religion, you're an asshole because you're an asshole. I know many nice, tolerant atheists, as well as religious people, Christians, Jews, Islams, out there. Hell, one of my roommates last year was Muslim, and he was very accepting of what I believe, just as I was to him. I don't look down on others for believing what they believe and not believing what I believe, just as long as they show me that same respect. I've been deist since around 2009, 2010, and I still feel there's some water left under the bridge by my parents. I still feel they are in denial over my decision to leave religion. My dad sometimes tells me he wishes I would embrace my Jewish identity, which I never felt I had one at all. I still get grief from some family members around the time of the High Holy Days, which, for those of you that don't know, are Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, as well as a few other temple services. I still get grief around that time when I don't go to any services, even though it gets me out of going to class. He even tells me he wants me to marry a Jewish girl, which I felt was such bullshit. If I'm going to marry someone, it should be because I love her and she loves me. not because of religion. And this is coming from a guy who married outside his religion, so he's a hypocrite there. And even then, I'm not going to try to make her deist, but she shouldn't try to change me either. I still do celebrate Hanukkah and Passover, mainly because they're the more fun and glamorized of holidays. I'm not celebrating them for religious reasons, but more so that it brings me together with my family, and we can throw religious differences out the window and give each other gifts or eat Passover food. It's kind of like on The Simpsons when Lisa became a Buddhist. She still continued to celebrate the Christian holidays like Christmas with her family. That's exactly what I do with my family. But Shades, if you don't like asshole atheists, why are you a fan of Mr. Epsilon? That's a very good question. I don't think he's as much of an asshole as some people make him out to be. I've seen him acknowledge that he can be an asshole sometimes, which is something I think everyone should do. Acknowledge that they can be assholes sometimes. I'm looking at you, metal elitists. Everyone can be an asshole, including myself. I'm not going to deny that. Everyone should acknowledge that they can be an asshole. The way I see it is that I should be able to look past religious differences if I enjoy someone's content, or even if I'm somebody's friend. I may not be an atheist like Daniel, but he's never made any personal attacks on me for not being an atheist. I can look past his atheism and see a guy who puts a good deal of effort into his videos and makes very interesting points, and has even made videos that have gotten me out of some bad moods, and for that reason, I look up to the guy. Some of his religious videos make sense to me, but that isn't what got me into his content a year and a half to 2 years ago. The point is, while our religious views don't exactly line up, I still enjoy Mr. Epsilon's videos. Same thing applies to Jacqueline Glenn, The Amazing Atheist, and any other atheist YouTuber that I'm a fan of. So that's everything I need to say about anything related to religion. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I just ask, don't turn it into a religious debate. I don't like those. And thank you very much to those of you that watched this video the whole way through. Kudos to you. I understand this video wasn't exactly like my other videos, but I appreciate you sitting through this. So with that said, take care and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.